Okay, guys, so here's your lesson for today. I know it feels a little bit different because this is a recording, not a live session, but I think it'll feel for the most part the same. It's still just me delivering information online. And the perk to this, like I said yesterday, is that you can pause me today. So if there's something I go over, you miss it, you want to hear it again, or I explained it too fast, you now have the option to just pause it, rewind it, and watch it again. So enjoy this video on dividing integers. I hope you find it easy enough to understand, and I look forward to seeing you live on Google Meet tomorrow. Okay, so here's the thing that's really nice about dividing integers is that the rules are exactly the same as multiplying. I mean, exactly the same. So this is the same sentence I had on the board yesterday, except instead of the word quotient, instead of the word product, it now says quotient. The quotient of two integers with the same sign is positive. So just like yesterday, if you're multiplying two negatives, it's positive. Well, if you're dividing two negatives, it's also positive. The quotient of two integers with different signs, therefore, is negative. Now, this first one here, we have two comments to make about zero, because when you multiply by zero, it's always zero. With division, though, we have to be a little careful. Zero divided by any number is equal to zero. Now, this you probably already knew, and I'm going to write that as a fraction. This is, after all, a pre-algebra course, and division, you'll see, is most often represented with a fraction. Now, this is like saying 0 divided by 10, 0 tenths. And I like to think of it as, okay, this is like when I think of division, I think of like food, right? Like pizza. Okay, so this is like you have 0 slices of pizza. You have no pizza. If you have 0 slices of pizza and you want to share it with 10 people, how many slices does each person get? Well, it's obvious, right? No one gets any pizza because there's no pizza to divide. So 0 divided by 10 is simply equal to 0. Now let's flip that around. If we put 10 in the numerator and 0 in the denominator, division by 0, this is something different. It's actually, well, first of all, it's not 0. And actually, it's not possible to do. You are not allowed to divide by 0. Remember, math is a system of rules. There's no answer to this. Oftentimes it's represented with a 0 with a line through it. You are not allowed. This breaks a rule. Division by 0 is not allowed, and there is a word for this. This is a vocab word that you are responsible for knowing. Division by 0 is undefined. You're not allowed to do it. And the word for that is undefined. Division by 0 is undefined. And we'll learn more about that as the year goes on. But for right now, this is enough for you to know. Just understand that you can't do it. Okay, moving on here. Just a handful of examples for us to try here, right? Now, I'm just going to kind of walk us through these real quick, just like we did yesterday. This is a negative divided by a positive, so I get -9. This here is a negative divided by a negative, so it gives us +8. This is a positive divided by a negative. Yes, 51 is divisible by 17, and that gives us -3. And this last one here is a little bit of order of operations, right? You're going to simplify the 7 and 5 first. That's going to give you 12. The negative outside the parentheses tells us to take the opposite, and then we divide that by 6. -12 over 6 just gives us -2. Now, this next set of examples, I would encourage you to do this because I really want us to get used to seeing fractions as division. In algebra, you very rarely will see this old-fashioned division sign. More often than not, you will see division represented with a fraction. So what I want you to do now is this. Pause the video and try this first row. These 4 problems, these 4 division problems written as fractions. Pause the video, try them on your own, and then hit play again, and I'll reveal the answer. So go ahead and pause it now. Okay, so hopefully by this point you've attempted each problem. Now this is going to give you -5 for this one, different signs. +4, this one is 0. 0 is in the numerator, that's okay. 0 divided by -24 is just 0, and 12. Now, a couple notes here on these two. Yes, we can divide 5 by 3. We can do negative 5 divided by 3. And there's a couple ways of looking at this number. One is as an improper fraction. This is negative 5/3. If you make this a mixed number, negative 5 divided by 3, well, negative divided by positive is negative. So, and then I could say, well, 3 goes into 5 one time, so this is going to give me negative 1 2/3. So I could also write this as a negative mixed number. I could also, if you put this in a calculator, do 5 divided by 3, and I'm going to get negative 1.6 repeating. So you're going to see this a lot this year. Get used to this. Ready? Representing values in different ways. This is an improper fraction, a mixed number, and a decimal that all represent the same value. 3 different ways of saying the same thing. Okay, so you can try that. And again, if you want to sort of pause the video again and try this one, I want this as a mixed number and as a decimal. You can go ahead and pause it if you like. If not, here are the answers. Now, this negative, you'll notice, is in front of the fraction. It really makes no difference. Negatives can be anywhere. They can be in the numerator, they can be in the denominator, they can be out front. This just means that it's going to be a negative number. So one way to write this number is negative 3 1/5. It's a negative mixed number, negative 3 1/5 or negative 16/5. As a decimal, it's simply negative 3.2. Again, 3 ways of saying the same thing. Now, you remember what this is? We just talked about it a moment ago. If I ask you on a quiz what 17 divided by 0 is, you are going to say it is. Don't say undoable. It's not unimpossible or something like that. I always get really creative answers for this. The word I need to see is undefined. Undefined. That's what we need to write right there. Undefined. Okay, last slide, guys. I want to skip ahead a little bit here. The last thing I want to make sure we understand today is substitution. We've seen a little bit of this for today. I just want you to try these 2 problems. You're substituting these values, 24 for A, negative 4 for B, and negative 8 for C. Substitute and solve each of them. Again, pause the video, attempt both problems, and then hit play again, and you'll see how you did. So I'll let you do that now. I'll go ahead and pause. Okay, here are the explanations. So this is going to be 24 minus, because it says minus. C is negative 8, so it's minus negative 8. A little double negative there. And then we divide that by B, which is negative 4. That's going to give us 32 over negative 4, which is negative 8. Hopefully you got that one. This one here follows that exponent rule we talked about yesterday. It's negative 4 squared. B is negative 4, and it's being squared. What is negative 4 squared? It's positive 16. C is still negative 8, so this is really just 16 over negative 8, and that's going to give us negative 2. All right, guys, that's the lesson for today. That concludes division. That concludes all 4 integer rules. So at this point, go ahead and you can exit this video and begin today's assignment. You'll find it under the Wednesday 923 tab. Good luck with that, and I will see you tomorrow.